Welcome, Gunrunner.
Hello everybody, Kieran aka The Laird here, and I've got a hardware review for you today, but something a little bit different, covering multiples, as we can see. Now, those of you who follow my channel regularly will remember that not so long back I did a hardware review looking at the Sonic 2, or was it Sonic 1? I think it was Sonic 2, Tiger LCD handheld game. And I showed you how utterly awful it was and talked about all the different games that Tiger made and stuff like that. And I also mentioned the other companies that made LCD games, like Konami made some at the time as well. There was Nintendo Game & Watches, probably more famously. And the other very prolific company who made LCD handheld games was a British company called Systema. Who also released later on a handheld console called the Systema 2000, which is a rebrand of a German handheld called the Hartung Game Master. And I've looked at the Systema 2000 on my channel as well, actually, so I'll link that in the comments if you're interested in that, because it is quite fascinating story behind it. And actually, a few years ago, in one of my Christmas videos, I spoke about getting Systema Space Attack handheld for Christmas, and how much I loved it. It was before I got my Spectrum and stuff like that. So for a long time, it was kind of the only video game thing I had was these Systema handhelds. So I got a few different ones in for Christmas or in stockings or whatever. And yeah, I have quite fond memories of them, even though I know in reality of today that they were actually pretty crap. But I managed to buy a bundle of 4, as you can see, on eBay really cheaply. They came up as a suggested item, and I saw them there, and I thought, wow, yeah. I mean, I think they were on an auction, which I think was the starting price was £12, and I was the only bidder, so I won them. So, oh well, £12, £3 each. Yeah, seemed pretty good to me. Can't complain at that at all, because actually I found some of the ones separate for actually more money than that. So yeah, they seem to be all over the place, the price of these things. But the Systema handhelds back in the day were always much cheaper than the Tiger ones or the Nintendo Game & Watches or Konami's actually. They were the cheapest ones of the lot, but you always saw them in Argos catalogue, Toys R Us, places like that. They were very easy to come by. So yeah, you see we've got 2 here called Pocket Wizard. There's one there, Pocket Wizard, which says Battle Zone and Fiend Finder. So it's got 2 games in it apparently. We've got Pocket Wizard, Alien Challenge and Space Soccer. Then we've got Systema Grand Prix. That's there. And finally, we've got Shore Grip. Thing, which I think, if I remember rightly, is tennis game. No, I think it's Shore Grip Tennis. The picture shows lots of different sports, but it appears to be tennis. It's working. These are all working, in fact. So there we go. I mean, I was most intrigued with this one, to be honest, because one of the ones I had as a kid that I have really fond memories of was a driving game, which I thought was called Grand Prix as well. But it actually looked different to this one. On the one I had, you had to avoid the cars, and you also had to pick people up from the side of the road, which is very strange. But it definitely looked different to this in terms of the game and the actual design of the handheld. Because what I had was red, and it was wider than this. It was kind of more like a kind of Game Gear kind of shape than this weird triangular thing. I thought it might be the same game, but with a different case. But it's not. It's actually a different game. I think one of the driving game that I had seems to be a really common one. But another really common one is there's Vampire Attack, I believe it's called, and that's quite a common one as well. But yeah, I'm not sure how well these are going to turn up on the camera, or even if we're going to be able to play them on the camera. But I thought it'd be interesting to look at them nonetheless. And the thing about these is actually, one thing I want to mention is that you can see here, you know, very much so that Systema did a lot of different designs to their games in terms of the cases and in terms of functionality. For example, there were some ones that they did where basically they kind of promoted them as having interchangeable cartridges that you could, you know, pull out the top and put in, but they weren't actually cartridges. What they were was that screen was kind of built into what looked like a cartridge. So basically, every time you were sliding in a new screen, so in the actual unit itself, there was just the controls. So basically, you were literally just plugging in a new game every time. It'd be like so some really old consoles that didn't actually have CPUs. There was a Japanese one, in particular, Supervision was it called, something like that, where basically the cartridges had the CPUs in them themselves. So basically, the actual console itself was just literally controls. It was like a pass-through unit. The unreleased Atari Game Brain followed that as well, where everything was in the cartridge to play the game. So yes, it followed a kind of similar idea. But they did also, as well as a lot of these cheapo ones, the just generic names like Tennis and Grand Prix and that, Systema did do some licensed stuff as well. I think they did quite a few games based on like cartoons and TV programs, more so than arcade licenses. From what I remember, I think they did a few movie-based games as well. But it's hard to remember now what they were. I'll have to look them up. I might be able to find some images and stick them up on the screen. But I definitely remember coming across some licensed ones, but they always followed the same pretty similar game mechanics. I mean, you'll find a lot of their games actually, you know, like this Grand Prix one, for example, using a very similar game mechanic in it, because there's only so much you can do with a LCD game. I mean, this is game 1 or game 2. So start. I'll press start, but I don't think I'm going to be able to play it really on camera because I've crashed already, haven't I? Because it's really hard to see. And where's the sound? Why is this not got any sound? That's interesting. It's got a helpline sticker on the back, and that had a stand as well, which looks like it's not there for some reason as well. Some of them did have stands. But why has this one not got any sound? Maybe it never came with sound. I don't know. It seems strange that it's not got sound though. I mean, it can certainly play the game okay. I mean, you can see it running really there. But that's strange that there doesn't seem to be any sound on that one. Maybe it didn't have any sound. But it certainly works. I mean, I can push the buttons and play. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just literally almost like Enduro on the 2600 or something, where you're just trying to avoid the cars. So let's grab this one. What's this one all about? This has got mode. So I'm seeing what that does. Game A or game B, it looks like. So if I start it, does it work? Is the question. That's weird because it's now not doing anything. Oops. So on the demo mode there, you can kind of see it playing. So yeah, it's just simple tennis game. Hit the balls back and forth at each other. I can't seem to get any sound out of this one either. They didn't have sound, which I bet they would, or the sound's not working on them anymore, which is quite possible. Quite possible indeed. It's got a little battery thing on the back there, so I mean we know that they work. Right, so let's grab one of the Pocket Wizard ones then. So this one definitely does have sound because it has a sound button. See, that's what I found strange about those other two that I looked at there, the Grand Prix and the Tennis. There's no sound button, whereas this has got the sound button. Yes, that's the sound on now because there's actually, I don't think there's a little musical note at the top. So mode. So that's game 1. And then if I change it, game 2. So we'll try that. What's this one? Game 2. Oh, there we go. So I'm not really sure what I'm doing here. Oh, I'm the flying saucer, and I'm trying to kill what's below me. But it's absolutely impossible to play through the camera. I've just died. Right, let's try the other game. Is this some kind of space shoot map? Don't know, it doesn't seem to be doing much. Yeah, but the sound's not working now. Even though the sound is on. That's really strange. But it's quite a clever idea though, that it's got 2 built-in games. I can't seem to get a lot out of it. I mean, it appears to be playing by itself now. That's strange. Oh, there we go. Yes, there we go. Space shooter. The terrible sound. Haha. Right, I've got that one working. I'll dump it over there for a minute. We'll go back to the other one. So what we've got here then. I can still hear it going though. Stupid thing. It's mode. We've got, again, it looks like one of the games takes place at the top or the bottom of the screen. And the other game takes place more in the centre of the screen. So I guess this one's Alien Challenge. And the other one is Space Soccer. Yeah. Let's start this and see if we get any joy out of it. There we go. So it looks like it's kind of Space Invader-ish. Or, yeah, people come from above and you've got to shoot them down. But that's almost impossible to play looking through the camera because the screen is tiny, as you can see. If I put my thumb next to it, how small that screen is. There we go. Right. Let's try game 2. So just kicking ball at each other. So in a way, it's actually just a variation of the tennis game, but with the pretense that you're somehow playing football. Yeah, quite rubbish. So that's it, really. Not a lot else to say. 4 quite rubbish LCD games. But it certainly brings back some memories of my youth. I mean, I think the best one there is actually the Grand Prix one. It's probably the most playable. The 2 ones that look like controllers, I've never seen those before till I bought these. I don't even remember seeing them back in the day. It's quite a clever design in the fact it looks like a controller and they've got 2 games on each. But the screen is so small, it's almost impossible to play anything on a screen that small. Very, very strange indeed. But, yeah, that's all there is to say, really. I mean, I've certainly got some nostalgia for the Systema handhelds. I particularly like to get the Space Attack one, but it seems to be really hard to find. For just because it's a game I enjoyed so much in my youth, and actually the racing one. But there certainly isn't much to them, and they're certainly not particularly fun to play these days, and the sound on them is horrible. But an interesting little item to add to my collection nonetheless. What are your memories of these old LCD handhelds. Did you get some of these Systema ones back in the day like me because they were cheap? I'd love to hear about your own nostalgia and your own memories down in the comment section, so please get typing. As always, I've been the Laird. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again for another video very soon. Bye bye.